mean, we went through it the first time, it didn't get copyrighted, so I guess that's a weird way to start the stream. It just happened that this music played. I'm surprised this one made it through the first time. What the fuck? Why do I keep hitting my elbow? Why is this a thing? Maybe my chair's lower than it's supposed to be. I mean, it kind of feels about right. Go up a bit. Maybe that'll save my elbow. It's not that bad. It's not funny bone bad. If you've done that before. But it's still annoying. Alright, so hi. How are you? Just so you know, I did a stream on YouTube. It worked pretty well. Only problem is it doesn't actually go into the uploads. You have to go to the channel, go to videos, and then you got to click on where it says uploads. You got to change that to live or previous broadcast, something like that, previous live broadcast, and then you'll find it there. It was only an hour and 30 minutes long. I don't know if it'll get deleted or not. I put it in the playlist, and that seems to work. But yeah, I went over some shading and some, I showed all my brushes off on that stream, so if you're curious about it, hopefully it's still there. If not, well then, maybe I'll redo that stuff later. On it, I talked about how I drew this guy. This is Kaiser from Breath of Fire 3. Pretty happy with it. I think the pose is a little iffy, but I was trying to get away from his original pose in game. I did something a little different. Other than that, we're going to be animating the Merman. Yeah, I guess that title's good enough. I wonder if my tags are working. Yeah, they are. So yeah, I'm going to be animating the Merman at about 1:30 or yeah, about 1 o'clock, somewhere around there. I gotta go to a D&D game, so we are on a time limit for this particular stream. Oh, but we, you know, that gives us a little time to draw. For now. My neck is extra sore today. It's not, I don't know. I mean, I've got full range of motion still. I'm gonna try and be even extra mindful of posture this stream. I'm thinking I've got bad posture habits right now. It's causing this, and that's always a bad thing. Okay, let's go. So I highlighted this last stream, but I'm gonna go ahead and just clear it again because it's bad to stop in the middle of coloring or in the middle of shading. It's better to start from the beginning so that you remain consistent. Alright. Yeah, I basically spent last stream just reaffirming the way or my process. So yeah, I went in and just tried different things to make sure the way that I've been doing this is the correct way, and it actually, I think I come to the conclusion this is the best way still. So that's good. I was just doubting it for a bit. So I want to get a little closer. There we go. I'm just going to do the head. That was horrible. I gotta keep in mind there are some of these that do not change frames. I gotta pay attention when they come. Alright, this doesn't change. Besides the hand. That's just one. I'm gonna do the entire thing on this one and copy it. I'll have to like erase a bit up there. I can do. I'll ignore the hand, that hand. I'll do everything else because nothing else moves in these two frames. So I want the lines not to move too, or as well. Okay, what did I say about posture? Scoot in. I think that's the biggest thing, is you got to scoot the chair into the table. It forces you to lift your head up. I am thinking about swapping to my standing desk just for a little while. I'd have to move some of my, like my microphone and my camera around to do that. But it's a lot healthier using a standing desk. Okay, I'll take that and copy it into this one. And just do the unique lines now. And this is cool because this is 2 frames that are just done. I can skip over later. Sometimes when the shading bleeds over, you just erase it a bit. I find the hardest part about correct posture is you got to be like way away from the way away from the tablet. It's just hard for me to get used to. I'm so used to being real close in, right? Like that. I wonder if there's something I could do to accommodate that. Maybe I'll get like a headstand and I can set my head on. That way it supports my neck. And I can continue being lazy with posture. And it hurts less. Okay, so this is good. Yeah. Almost. And then go back to what I was doing. I was doing the head. There'll be another part like that coming up where the frames repeat. I find it better to just kind of like single them out and do them immediately, separately. This is it. So this one, I just don't shade the arm up to 19. And then at 19, I gotta copy it all the way through. Oh, this is confusing. No, I think I just copy it all the way up till 25. So basically 17, 16, no, yeah, 17 to 25. So I do 17, I ignore that arm. And then, I mean, the head moves too, but I can just erase that, I guess. Or I just, yeah, I removed the head line. We won't do the head or the arm. Okay. So I just do the body. The back arm too doesn't move. And then I copy and paste that all the way through. But then I'm going to have to go to 20, or 19, 20, and 21. I'm going to have to copy those so that the arm doesn't move, because they remain stationary for a couple frames too. And the head's basically always moving, so that'll be the last thing that gets done. Okay, cool. We have a plan of attack. That's good. So I'm just going to do all of the body of 17. Can I do that arm like the armpit? Yes, I can. It doesn't move at all. I'm thinking about, did I do the chest back here? Yes. Yes, I did. Good. That's something that I could ignore on accident. The back is going to be a problem. because the arm's going to move in front of it, but I think I'm just going to I'm going to have to erase it in every single frame after this, but at least it will remain consistent, so we'll just go do it anyway. So I'll draw it and then I'll erase it later. Sometimes that's just how it's got to happen. Alright, so that's that done. Let's go this to 25, right? Yeah. Delete these. Okay, and then there's a couple. 20 and 21. These I can go ahead and delete. Alright, cool. So, let's do all the extra stuff. So I just use the soft airbrush as an eraser. That way I mostly keep the shadow without tweaking it too much. It'll be a little bit on there, but not enough to ruin the drawing. Now this is the one where I gotta do the hand. Now I copy that. There we go. I have to just finish the rest of it off. Oh crap. Right, I can fix that. Just go back twice. There we go. So the arm gets copied for a couple frames there. 23, 24, 25. Right, did I fuck up? I did. Easily fixed. 23 is the one that I want to keep. 24, 25. Okay. There we go. There we go. Oh, and then I'm not done yet because I gotta go in with the soft shade on the head and the arm. Well, I guess I kind of screwed myself on the arm for most of it. Let's do the head at least. We'll figure out the arm because the arm got copied in a couple places. Yeah, I should have done the soft shade for those as well. That was a mistake. But it's not going to be a huge issue, I don't think. And I can put the shade in some places. Probably. I could also just let it wiggle, right? As long as most of it doesn't wiggle, a little bit's not bad. And I can kind of make the same past with very little wiggle. Though it's impossible to get it perfect. Let's see how well it does. Yeah, you won't even be able to notice it. Probably. There's a little bit of wiggle. You can see it in the arm. But it's not terrible. Sometimes that happens. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so back to what I was doing, which was this line. Cool thing is, yeah, I just knocked out a whole bunch of more frames that I won't have to do or bother with. Oops. There we go. I should just start at the top. Okay. I'm gonna do a little mouthpiece. Looks like a nose, but this is his mouth. So yeah, when I come to those ones, I just skip right over them. Just a handful more frames I don't have to do. Cool. Um, I usually like doing things in the foreground first. So I'll probably do this front arm next. Because usually it'll block things behind it. Working like front to back. It's not like such an issue in this guy, but for the really big animations, I find that that's just a good practice to work front to back. Maybe I should put my tablet up here. I think that would get hard on my arms. The big issue here is I need to lay my head back more. I mean, to me that seems like lowering my chair as far as possible is a good idea. Maybe even raising the desk up a little bit. It would be like here, so that my neck stays backwards, right? I can slide this forward a bit, this desk. But I would have to like put a platform to move the tablet forward as well. I mean, it would be way worse than this if I was on a flat table. So at least I've got a bit of angle here. But I think a little bit more would be useful. I'd love to see some Disney animators' desk. Or, well, not really Disney. They don't do 2D that much. I don't know. People who work on tablets a lot, I don't want to see what other people are doing. I have looked up videos of like ergonomics. Talking about desk spaces. But I mean, they were coming from doctors, which is a, you know, it is a good resource. Also, I've noticed I forgot to do this. But I just feel like I would get better advice from just seeing like what other people are doing. Okay, I definitely don't want to do that one because it copies. It's better that it's left blank and it remains the same. I think it's pretty comfortable where it is. It's like a nice elevation to rest my hand on. And at least my neck stays, a good distance back. I think a lot of it's just training myself to be back here instead of up here. Like this is where I really want to be, is in real close. But I really need to just lean my head back. And that's just like, I need to form the habit. That animation looks so jank right there, where he stands back up. I was being very lazy. Or, I don't know. Like, I was just shrinking the body, I think, and then making it grow. Connecting certain pieces. Like, the chest is just copy and pasted, I think. And then I connected lines, so if I'd... Honestly, this is totally possible to do, to, like, cheat like that. You just need to make sure you shrink the body parts and fold them where needed. Otherwise, it'll end up looking a little weird. So, I think I could, like, what I was doing is not necessarily wrong. It's just, you've got to do it correctly. Okay, so there's that arm. I'm going to do this armpit next. So yeah, I just break it down into one line at a time, basically, one form at a time. I find this is the easiest way. It's a lot of work, a lot of tedium, but I actually really enjoy this. I don't know. To me, this is like grinding in an RPG. What it's kind of akin to. I don't know. Yeah, it's very similar. Like if you like grinding in RPGs, I think you would enjoy this too. Honestly, I'm looking at this. I want to do this too because I did the head, but I ignored the head here. Technically, this is part of the head. My head's leaned in. It went forward. I did a nice shave yesterday. Cleaned up the back of my neck, which I haven't, because I haven't like had a haircut in forever. Back of my neck got real messy. So I tried to touch it up a bit, but I think my electric trimmer is getting kind of dull because the back of my neck is hurting. It's kind of sore. Well, not just the muscles. Now the skin hurts too. So I got like a lot of there's a lot of attention on my neck right now. Kind of annoying, but it feels good to have it not be all, to be bare. It feels good to be at least that. So that's nice. I don't know. I figured I'd do it myself instead of going to a barber. There's not a lot of, I don't see a lot of sense going to a barber when you're not actually cutting hair, you're just trimming. But then again, if I went to a barber, they would have done a much nicer job of it and my neck wouldn't hurt right now. For my dull trimmer. I need to buy a new trimmer. That one's pretty old. I really like it though. I hate those really big trimmers. I think those are horrible. I like the small ones. Well, not like small in size, but like the trimmer itself is just like a little blade. You can use those on your neck. So if I ever like get real lazy with shaving, I can just like trim it real quick and then shave it. So that's why I like those kind of shavers, or those type of trimmers. They also tend to be, I don't know, just better on sensitive skin. I'll go ahead and do this whole chest line here. I'll just do all of this because he's in a very weird form right here. So I'll just jump the gun and do a couple extra things. I can just skip over them later. I got messy there. And now we're back to normal. God, this frame in particular, this is one of those things where it looks really bad when you take it out of context, but when I actually put it in game, and I don't notice it, and I don't think anybody else will. It's just when I'm working on it and I see this and I go, he looks ridiculous. And I do believe I could have done these couple frames right here where he stands up. I definitely could have made them look nicer, but we're way beyond that stage. I've just got to accept the jank. And also, it just helps to consider that Not a lot of people are actually going to notice that. Or care at all. It's just going to be me that cares. Alright, I think next we do the chest. I'll do the top portion of the chest. Break it into little pieces. As far as like when I separate things, I don't know. I'm trying to formulate an idea here, but I don't know how to talk about it. Kind of like a rule for this shading. Sometimes you shade the top of things just to separate them, like I did this arm here. This needed a separation. But this does not necessarily, because it's not such a drastic change. I don't really need to like make it obvious it's another thing. It's just like a scale that's upraised. So I think it's better to not shade the top of these when you get into this sort of situation. But if it dips under, or I can do like a very light amount, I think that's fine. So in that way, you are kind of treating this like shading again, like illustration shading. I don't know. I don't feel like that's a concrete rule though. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. And I haven't quite decided like a concrete what looks best. Because I think sometimes if you just leave a pure black line without any sort of adjustment, oh, see, that's not good though. Because it goes from this frame into that frame. That one I didn't do it, so in this one I don't want to do it either. Oh no. It's fine. Oh, that's 17. Okay, yeah. I just want to make sure it kind of transitions well into the other ones. this kind of thing makes me think of that big controversy. Controversy? Yeah. I don't know. At some point, people were taking like still frames from one of the Pokemon seasons, and they were, I don't know, they all jumped on this big bandwagon, like, because of some of the frames of animation look kind of jank when you like take them out of the animation. They were saying that it was bad. And then a lot of animators came forward and was like, no, it's very good. When you take them out of context of the animation, of course it's going to look bad. Remember, that was kind of a weird thing to look at from the, I don't know, from an animator's perspective, because I thought it was ridiculous, but then I couldn't understand why a normal person would even kind of think that. Like, of course if you take a still frame, it's going to look bad. But it makes the animation look more fluid too. When you have really harsh bends and stretches and things that go off of character, it adds a lot of personality. And it's kind of like a different, like, yeah, you can get a different style just based on how much you apply that. So it's not always like the way to go. Some animations will stay on form as much as possible. It's like if you've ever seen pictures of figure skaters when they're mid-twirl, yeah, they look absolutely ridiculous. The contortions on their face, they just look horrible. But when you actually watch them in motion, you don't actually see any of that stuff. And it looks beautiful. Very, very much same applies. Or, yeah, instead of figure skaters, there's also ones where people come out of the water. I think there's a really famous one of the guy who plays Wolverine coming out of the water and flicking his hair. And, yeah, his face just looks all mashed and gnarled as he makes the flick. And it looks ridiculous. But if you were to take that out of context, like, I don't know, it's not weird, it's not nearly as weird in motion. I think that's a good real life example of that. Okay, I like that. That's, yeah, it's definitely a thing you have to keep in mind if you're gonna animate. It's to make you feel better about certain frames. I think if you beat yourself up too much, about the way your animation looks, you only do more harm than good. And that was one of my reasons why I really didn't like the 12 principles of animation. Because I think it just encourages, and new animators, it encourages you to beat yourself up on your animations, when I think it's a lot healthier to just do stuff. Just make some animations. They're not going to look great in the beginning, but every one you do, you just consider, I'm going to learn from it, and the next one I'm going to do things a little differently, and then the next one, you know, it's just going to gradually improve. If you focus too much on principles, you're just going to like struggle with one animation for way too long, and it's going to kill any enthusiasm. and you'll never finish it, or you'll do it but you won't do any more. I feel like it's actually better, in my opinion, if you're gonna start animating, just do it like flipbook style. Like, do it with sketches. It's fine. Just sketch things to get the grasp of it, and go through a bunch of things. Don't get hung up on one thing at a time. But I like putting more in than a sketch too. I like doing the line work and the coloring and the shading to really make it go to the next level. So that, you know, that's valuable too. But then that introduces its own host of problems, because there's a lot that can go wrong when you're sketching an animation, but there's also a lot that can go wrong when you're shading your animation. And then there's also more things that can go wrong with the way you color things. So when you try and do it all at once, it can be a bad idea in that sense. My strategy has been do animations and constantly fight back against dwelling on it, and yeah, just constantly be like, you know what, fuck it. I think that's it. That's why I say that's my number one rule. That's my first principle in animation. Fuck it and move on. That's the thing. I think that is the key. If you're like me, you have to learn how to say fuck it and move forward. So yeah, I think anytime anybody asks me about tips, I say that's usually my first go-to one, is learn how to say fuck it and move on. I think it'll make the whole thing a lot more enjoyable. Thinking about, like, it makes a lot of sense to me. Like, consider the alternative. It's like a kid is doing illustrations or whatever. They see like a really radical dragon in a magazine. It's like, yeah, go ahead, trace it. You know, draw that dragon. That's great. That's like a great way to learn. If you were to go to that kid and be like, you know, while he's working on that, and you try and explain like the way he should be shading, you know, the way, I don't know, just like a lot of advanced principles, right? Like that's not good. That doesn't help. Like all these techniques. I think, yeah, it kind of applies with animation too. But I think it's a longer learning curve too. Um, because I think animation is definitely a lot more technical than illustration. Or, I don't know. Maybe, is that true? Let me think about it more. I would say it definitely is. I've done both, so I should have at least a ground to stand on when making that claim. Yeah, I think you could learn illustration a lot faster than you could learn animation. I'm gonna stick by that statement. Because animation's kind of taking a bit from both. Or, yeah, a bit from itself, but also a bit from illustration as well. Also, I think that if you want to get better at illustrating, you should do animation. If you've ever heard anybody say, the best way to get, you know, good at illustrating is to illustrate a lot, like draw the picture every day. Well, imagine, in animation, that's what we do. And instead of draw the picture every day, it's more like draw 35 every day. It's just that on steroids. So I think animation is an excellent way. But I say that animation's always very simple too. So you're never going to learn any like advanced illustration techniques if you just keep animating. It'll always be basic, cartoony. Because that's kind of how you have to draw to animate effectively. Which, honestly, I have been feeling a bit of a need to want to learn better illustration. There's one thing I've never really got into, and that's like the most common way of people, like concept artists and digital artists do draw, and that's using like brushes to fill out and blend objects instead of outlining like I've been doing. I've been relying on outlining a lot. And I would like to practice some types of anime or some types of illustration that do not use outlines or draw, lines like this. I'm just so used to it now too. Drawing with an outline. I guess it's very comic book style, I guess, is the closest example. Cartoons use thick outlines, black outlines. But I think I'm getting closer to a comic book style then. Which is something I wouldn't have expected I would go for. I don't like gravitate towards comic books. I'd consider I gravitate more towards the Looney Tunes style. But I don't like... I say that. That's how I see it. It's a Looney Tunes style with more realism, which really is a comic book, so it makes sense. Like, when you consider it that way. It's like, of course, that's the direction I'm kind of going. So even like with this guy, I did thick outlines, that sort of comic book style. Instead of, I don't know if I have any examples here, but I do have some older artwork where I was trying out lots of different things. I don't think there's any in here. Anyway, yeah. I was definitely trying it in the beginning, lots of different methods. And I've just spent a lot of time on this particular style. But yeah, it kind of feels like I'm not exploring enough other types of artwork. Because I think it's a good idea. It can definitely enhance your own artwork, learning other styles, right? You can learn techniques that help your own way of doing things. Oh yeah, I forgot to do that line. Where did I stop? Right here. I was doing this little muscle line on this leg as well. I've been thinking about what I would do if I was to make a Mega Man clone. It would be like a Mega Man X clone. I can kind of picture the character in my head. It looks kind of like the assassins from Suikoden 2, which, I mean, that's a very vague reference, but basically a guy with a metal mask and like a big lion's mane of hair. I think that would be kind of cool, but sort of like robotish. I think it would go, yeah, it would be like robot-y. So I would still be following that like sci-fi aspect and cyborg of Mega Man. I'd like to make a Mega Man game. I think it would be definitely a harder project, so it would be on the backlog. But at least it's fun to think about. There's so many opportunities. I'm doing a lot right now by trying to do this entire front leg. So it's very easy to like leave out a line or something. I'm trying to avoid that. That's why I think it's a bad idea to do too much at once. And like imagine doing the whole thing, you would definitely miss a lot more. Okay, real quick. I could go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I brought drinks and snacks. We'll eat these candy canes. These are bomb. I haven't had one since the last stream I ate one. I saw somebody on the Breath of Fire subreddit. They're making like a fan game. Seems kind of... I mean, I get it. Seems kind of weird to me. If you're going to go through all the effort of making like a large fan game with new art, why not just make it like a clone instead? And, you know, then you can do your own thing too. I mean, everybody wants a new Breath of Fire game. And why not just give it to them instead? If you're going to go through that much effort. Become the new Breath of Fire. You got to be careful with cloning, I think. Like, if I was just talking about doing a Mega Man clone. For one, I would never do the character, like, make it look like Mega Man. It would be kind of like it, but it would definitely be like a new design. And like story-wise, I would do something different. I would probably change the way you go through stages. I really don't like the Mega Man way. Like at the very least, when you get upgrades, I feel like some upgrades are just crucial, right? So, like the Mega Man way of just pick and choose a level does not apply very well in the later titles when, like, if you're trying to play without the dash or the air dash, it's like, okay, I need to look up online and figure out where I get these things because they make that big of a difference to the gameplay. And the game's more fun to play with those abilities, right? So, like, you can have the Mega Man style, but you got to make sure like those kind of upgrades are available in any level. So basically, you can play whatever you want and still get those upgrades your first time through. I think that's like a better way to approach that type of thing. That's how I would do it. If you were even going to bother making them upgrades. Because at that point, why not just give it to the character if they're crucial movement options, like locking wall jumping. Like eventually they gave you the dash just right out the gate anyway. You didn't have to acquire it in the second game. You just had to acquire the new stuff. And if people that, you know, would play my game are already familiar with air dashing and dashing, it just seems like it would be smarter to just give it to them and come up with new upgrades. Now, as far as like a clone, it's very hard to get like an original idea in a Mega Man clone because Mega Man they did a really good job of doing everything. I'm sure there's some interesting things you could do, but I don't know. It would be hard to figure it out because they kind of they did exhaust it a lot of the ideas. So I would probably do something that just like I would take all of my favorite ones from I'd look at each of the games, the Mega Man games, and just do kind of like a collection of all my favorites. And I doubt there would be too much like actual innovation, but it would be like I think it would be any person who likes those type of games would still enjoy just like a big condensed version of it. So it's not like I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to not innovate. Like I really like Super Mario, and like a new game wouldn't even have to do much. It would just have to be new stages and I would be happy with it. But better stages than the crap you see in Super Mario Maker. I don't like super hard stages or gimmick stages. Like they would have to have like a good designer behind it at least. Level designer. Because that's super important for Mario. Yeah, like I wouldn't be upset with a lot of the same or more of the same. That sounds fine. One thing I've been kind of staying away from is JRPG style games. I've got like one that I've been thinking of. I don't know why it is. I was really into that when I was in high school, and it would make sense that I would be in that because it's one of my favorite genres. But I don't know. I've just lost a lot of enthusiasm for telling stories, which is kind of like the main point. And I think that's maybe why, is I don't have any ideas of a story that I want to tell. That's like a grand adventure kind of story. I gotta go back and make sure I didn't miss anything. I get distracted doing all this talking. I'll make sure I'm not leaving things out. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll do a good RPG. It would. What would my RPG be? Like, minus the story. Well, the RPG that I had, that I was thinking about, was like mixing RTS and JRPG qualities together, which I find very fascinating. But I think that game, what I was thinking it would have a very simple storyline. Like, actually, the most bulk standard, a great evil is threatening the world. You need to bring the people together and fight it, you know. I like simple too. But I don't think that's a fitting for like it's fine for like a gimmick kind of JRPG mashup. But if I was to do it like for real, that definitely doesn't fly. But yeah, minus the story. I don't know. I really like Breath of Fire's way of transforming into different things. That's cool. It would be very hard to copy that without immediately being called a Breath of Fire, you know, clone, a remake. But I don't think I would do things the same way Breath of Fire does it, like story-wise, too. I don't know. I do like the idea of what I did like for Breath of Fire 3 is the idea of a bunch of kids that are kind of like abandoned and out in the wilds on their own trying to survive. That's kind of a cool premise. I did have an RPG Maker game that I could always revisit too, that I really like. It kind of follows my experience in the military, to where it's like a group of friends that all join a military together. But I love the idea that the one that you join isn't necessarily the good side. This would be kind of like the bad side. But they just happen to be, you know, your country. So, of course, that's the one you're going to go for. But when you look at it like from an outward view, they definitely don't seem to be the good kingdom to be fighting for. But you got to keep in mind, like, just because the kingdom seems to be the bad side, it doesn't mean the people in the country are bad, right? It's like the way people see the American government compared to the way American people see themselves. I think they're very different things. So when our government does something really dumb, I mean, we don't approve of it in any way. But I don't know, once the war gets started, there's not a lot you can do. Honestly, it's war in like the medieval kind of setting. It's pretty crazy. Like, it doesn't matter the reason why a war got started. If you're a farmer and even if the good guys, let's call them the good guys, come and they want to, I mean, you know, your farm is on a perfect hill for battle, right? And you've got food, supplies, and your food and supplies would be going to the enemy. Why wouldn't they just take over your farm, imprison your family? Even worse, because even the good guys have bad guys in their ranks. So, like, that's saying, okay, if the good thing happens, you just get, like, assimilated into their kingdom. But the bad thing can happen, too, to where a bad guy in a good army just comes and, yeah, it's a bad time when we're talking about war stuff. Usually doesn't end well for anybody. But, yeah, when you think of it that way, it's like, of course you're going to defend yourself. Or, you know, support the team that's in your best interest. That allows you to keep your farm. I just love this idea of, like, going into the aspect of what it's like to be on the technically bad team, but fighting for your own, you know, good reasons. So I think if I was going to do like a complex JRPG, that would be the focus of it. And I like the idea of a bunch of idiot kids put in a very grown-up situation, but the way I say the way we act, because it is kind of based on my own experiences. It's usually, I don't know, it's just silly. You kind of like, you take everything with a bit of like dark humor. Everything's dark humor in that situation. I love the idea, let's say our character isn't actually like one of the heroes in the battle. I love the idea of coming across a hero. And when I say hero, like somebody of supernatural strength, right? I've got this idea of like, we're part of the war, and this is further along in the game, but yeah, our guys, basically we're following one squad in an army, and this squad's actually, yeah, so I think it's a good squad in a bad army, or a bad, yeah, government. But yeah, they come across like a super warrior on the other team or on the other side of the war. And I love the idea of like, once you meet somebody like that, that is clearly way stronger than you. And I'm not saying like being directly confronted, just like you just happen to see a guy pull a tree out of the ground and throw it at another guy. When you see that, it's just the reaction of the squad to be like, hey, we're not going anywhere near that guy. Like, that guy just threw a fucking tree. Let's go this way. Stay away from him. I think that's funny. I want that. I want to make that scene. It's like, yeah, okay, so we're not going over there. We're not stupid. We're not fighting him. Are you fucking crazy? It's exactly what it would be like. I mean, sometimes you get forced into fighting in a bad battle, but if you have a choice, you'd be like, no, we're going to avoid that. I like that idea. I haven't really thought about, like, so this is an RPG I worked on for a little bit using RPG Maker. I got pretty far along in it. At least I had a lot of the early game stuff done, but I burned out on it, and that was one of my incomplete projects. Oh, but this is a very long time ago, too. This would have been like the first RPG Maker that was released on PC, I think. I don't know if I can back that up, but it feels like it would have been one of the really early versions. It was the version that had Final Fantasy Endless Nova on it, because that game really influenced the way I was making my game. I still got some of the sprites too, but I love that in that kind of RPG, they have like the characters at the bottom. You don't ever see your party fight. It's not like side view Final Fantasy. But what Final Fantasy Endless Nova did is every attack you do, even basic attacks, has the character run on screen, do the attack, and then leave. And you can do all kinds of fun stuff, like he can run on screen and then slash through the enemy, or he can like jump on screen, do a flip and slash. It was just really cool, so that's what I was doing. It's a way of doing that Final Fantasy style without, well, we're doing it in a very easy way. So the characters aren't always on screen, and they get to do like a lot more actions. Like in the Final Fantasy thing, they got more advanced later on, but most of the beginnings they would just do like a little yak, with the sword. But when you do it this way, you can have the guy run on screen and do whatever you want, something really badass. So that's how I was doing mine. Yeah, but that was the version. I don't know what RPG Maker it was. I have seen the newer versions of RPG Maker have they actually offer that side view and like customizing sprites and stuff. It's really cool looking, actually. I probably would have enjoyed that a lot more, but now I'm kind of advanced past that. I can make whatever the hell I want. But back then, the idea of coding was very daunting to me, so I was avoiding it at all cost. Now it's like, oh no, I could definitely make anything happen that I want with a little bit of Googling and practice. I like the idea, though. That's what kind of gets it away from me. I love the idea of like and that was the point of that game. It was the main character, the one that you play, is actually, there's nothing special about him, and I think that was cool. And I think that was fun. It's like you start him off where he just kind of arrives in this city. He's from like an island nation that's part of this kingdom. So kind of like a foreigner, but also technically part of the kingdom. But so that that gives you a chance to like learn all about the kingdom sort of what is it, naturally, along with the character. But yeah, I like the idea. Like later on, everybody in the party would be, he doesn't, or he lies about himself all the time. So anytime anybody asks him about um, like what his background is or where he comes from, he would never actually tell the truth. But when the party actually learns the truth, it's actually like, no, he grew up in a village. He had a really good family. It was like, it's very boring. He's a very boring guy when you think about it. He had the ideal kind of life. There's nothing special about it. But here he is in the middle of all this conflict. And meanwhile, you're surrounded. Everybody in the party is a special person. Like you've got all the classics. Like one of them is like a bastard child of the king, and one would be like a demoted royal guard or something. You got one that actually is kind of like transforms into a werewolf and is hiding his past. Basically all the main characters are the side characters, and the actual main character is more of a side character. I just like that idea. But what I thought was cool about it is because the main character lies about himself so much, he ends up building up this legend that basically all the stories he tells becomes part of the legend, right? So even though he has, out of all the characters, the most bland backstory, it actually becomes the most epic character in history for this world. One that like lives on for a long time. I think that's a cool idea, and that's kind of my best one for an RPG game. I think there's a lot to work out there as far as the story. I still don't know what the big bad of the story would be. Like, you need a good big bad villain. It starts off, it's mostly just the villains are, I mean, they're not really even villains, they're just the other team, right? The other people in war. And it could even be your side. Like, the villains could be your leadership. Oh, I gotta be careful here. If I drag too far up the tail, I'm gonna mess up the spines of the next character. I'm gonna copy and paste all this shading to the next one and then just do his spine separately. I might have to erase a couple lines here and there, but as long as I'm mindful of it, it's less I'll have to erase. But yeah, all that aside, I gotta admit, I like the character that's a special person too. Like the special member of an ancient dragon race that can transform into dragons. Like that's sweet. Or a robot that actually is a spaceship, whose job was to eliminate this dangerous AI. I don't know. I do gravitate towards the super special kind of plotline a lot. So trying to go contrary to that is kind of silly too. Or in Morrowind, where you're like a reincarnated ancient hero. I was kind of hoping the whole way of the mystery around the character of not knowing actually who he is would be kind of fun too. Though it might be kind of like disappointing to find out that he's actually just a normal person. Or yeah, there's absolutely nothing to his background. I don't know. I like the idea. I think it is it's a good one. I wouldn't call it my magnum opus though. I don't think. But I think it's definitely a fun one. I think I'm avoiding JRPGs because they've got like with RPG makers like added a lot of crap to the genre too when it comes to like recent stuff. So it would be that's a genre that would be very hard to stand out in. Like I feel like I would have to have a couple successful games to push that out. But yeah, okay, so that game that I was just talking about, I don't have to do the combat like it was. I can do whatever I want, right? What would I do now? With my current skill, I can... What would be the ideal kind of JRPG battle system? I love turn-based. I don't like action combat that much. I mean, it's okay. But I think it's just fine to select attack from the menu and watch the guys do their thing. And like, I would definitely lean more towards that. A more relaxed type of game. I always liked, like in Warsong, where you didn't just have a guy, but you have like a whole army that's fighting as well. That's always kind of cool. Because then you get like nameless soldiers and stuff out doing things. I've seen that in a couple JRPG style games. What time did I need to leave? It was 1:30. So we got plenty of time. So like an hour and 45 minutes. Sure. We'll just keep streaming. There are a lot of ways you can do a JRPG combat. I've seen a lot of them. Like Suikoden's way of queue up everybody in the party's command and then just watch it all happen is kind of cool. But then I kind of like the active turn battle too, of like Final Fantasy VII. So everybody attacks individually. And the Breath of Fire way, I mean, it's the same thing where you queue up all three characters' attacks, they just happen individually. I like how Suikoden would like overlap attacks, so if you got a couple people that are just attacking, they'll jump on screen and attack at the same time and stuff. That was always neat. I think that's kind of cool. You could do something to where, I mean, it would be more complicated, but you queue up like the whole party's attacks, and yeah, it would be kind of difficult. But sometimes, like party members will just, if they attack and the speed line up to where they're both in line, they will both jump out and do some sort of special animation where they work together to attack, right? You could do some fun stuff like that to add some character. And there's a lot of games that do like a movement style, like Arc the Lad and Parasite Eve. You move to an area and then attack. I don't know if I mean, they're good in their own rights, but I don't know if that would be the way I would go. I don't know. The more I think about it, I kind of feel like, for me, I'd rather just do something really basic when it comes to a combat system. I don't want to do anything fancy. I think it's fine that, I mean, maybe an active turn battle, but nothing more than that. Maybe I could do like a little bit of a spin on that too. But overall, it's just select an attack and it attacks. I do know I don't know, if I did transformation, I would want to make it to where it could be, I don't know. I don't like transformation for one reason, and that's that you don't always get to be the dragon. Like, it's something that's on a timer. Or it takes a turn to transform, like it's a more powerful form. So ideally you'd think, well, I just always want to be the dragon then, if it could be otherwise. And then why not just play as a dragon? If that's the point. Or make it to where the character automatically transforms in combat. Wait, was that everything? I think I did everything. I still gotta do the soft shadows. I did both arms, chest. I probably missed something somewhere. I'm just gonna do this whole thing. Because it's so simple. Legend of the Gaia. Now there's an interesting combat system for a game. I love the combos. That's really cool. You don't see it very much either, and I can't even think of another example of it. Shadow Hearts had a really good one with like the rhythm-based thing too, and the way Super Mario RPG, you had to like time button presses to get better attacks. Okay, I actually like timing-based things. Like, I naturally press the button, like in Super Mario RPG, no matter what JRPG I'm playing, just to, because it feels like it'll give you a critical. So it would be nice if it actually did something. So actually, I am down for that idea. I don't know, the combo thing is really cool. When I look at that stuff, I'm like, they are really great, but is it something I would want to do? Like, I'm just as happy with simple. Wild Arms has a very simple combat style, and that's just fine to me. But I do like the time button presses. I think, if anything, that one is something that I would do. You time the button press right when the attack goes off, or right when it connects. You get a little bonus damage, or maybe more likely to hit a critical. And then I did all of these. Okay, cool. I hate when it happens. It doesn't register a finger. I don't know why it does this. It's like it's stuck in drag mode, and it won't resize now. I don't know what's going on. Did that fix it? No, that didn't fix it. Yeah, now it's fixed. I think maybe it considers my pen is still touching the screen somewhere. I don't know. It's a weird thing that happens sometimes too. Okay. This should be good. I'm gonna look at just the muscle lines, because I feel like if I forgot anything, it would have been one of those. Okay, looks like I didn't. Anything else? I guess I'll look at the face as well. Okay, it's all good. That's the shading. I want to take this, copy it, bring it down into this one. Now this is on. I'm gonna have to tweak some of these layers and stuff later, but at least I got a copy of it for when I get to it. Okay, with that done, we can now hide it. Oh, this button, and do an overlay. So this guy is supposed to just be an orange, yeah, a very standard looking seahorse. I got a picture of one. Yeah, this is what I would consider the most bog standard seahorse, right? Looks like this. Has a little fin on its back. Yeah, pretty basic. So yeah, I'm just gonna make them similar to that. Probably just use that type of orange. It does go through like kind of a gradient of colors. So I have to kind of like pick an orange. I don't know, let's just try this one. This one's as good as any of them. I don't know. Darker. Not that dark. It is a beach variety. A lot of my beach creatures are blue, actually. More like this. Okay, that's what color the octopuses are. I don't like that orange. I know the cave one's going to be brown and green. We've got a brown and blue one as well. Right? Actually, yeah. Let me look at the other guy. I don't think he's in this file anymore, but he's here. There he is. This one has like textures on him too, doesn't he? No, oh, he does. Yeah, they dance all over the place too. I even did some like funky stuff with highlights. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, he's brown and blue. The cave one's gonna be brown and green. I guess like a brownish orange then makes the most sense. Would be like that. I just feel like that's too dull. I like this red orange color. I like this one. Maybe I just tweak it a bit so it's not so default. Nice Naruto orange. I think this will be it. Maybe a little more yellow. I just feel like I should be closer to the yellow side, but I don't like it. It looks more like a fruit. I mean, that's what a real seahorse looks like, though. They look like a fruit. Okay, we'll go with this orange for it. Honestly, as far as colors go, I'm thinking how I want to color this guy. Look at this again. So he's just straight up brown. He's got like lighter brown on the limbs. And then I use some like tips of color too. But really, there's like two colors if you exclude the highlights and the blue. I think maybe that would be smart. I could use this kind of orange, this more yellowy orange for the limbs. Nope, somebody's here. Thank you. Hello, Jan? D-Jan? Hard to see your name on the black background. I'm just deciding colors for this guy. I wanted him to be very standard, like seahorse looking. So it's like bright orange and yellow orange. And then I gotta think, like, what color is his eyeball? This is the old version, or the other version, I should say, of him. And I think I had this one just have, yeah, like a light brown eye. I mean, technically his eye is the little black dot, and that's just like a big round eyelid kind of thing. That's how seahorses work. So I guess that's fine. Okay, so the arms and the legs will be light orange, and maybe I do the chest too. I don't know if I'll do the chest, but that shouldn't be too hard to do. Set this at, oh wait, no, we gotta color it all the same color first. Alright, you're gonna be that orange, you're gonna be that orange. And now let's just go through and color first. Okay, computer needs to load. Might have overdid it. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I like it. And not a lot of people's doing it, which I think is a good thing. For trying to stand out with a game. It's loading really slow. There we go. That's the base color. Now we can set this as a reference. And oh yeah, I didn't think, like, what color is his claws? Do I want to just do black? I think these were just black. No, these are dark brown. Okay, no, I might do something different there. Maybe like a light yellowish orange for the claws. Okay, let's do this part though. Oh yeah, there's webbing too. It's got a lot of things I could color. I do, again, I like the fact that the most dangerous of these seahorse monsters is the one that looks the plainest. He looks standard. He has no extra frills on him. But all of his attacks are very dangerous. It's kind of fun. Okay, what's going on? Computer's acting funny. Let me save again real quick before something happens. Maybe it's like updating or something. I don't know. He is kind of a Goku orange, isn't he? Maybe that's why he's so dangerous. This is going to take a bunch of touching up later. Honestly, these kind of like fire colors are interesting, especially because he shoots water. I feel like I'm getting very unusual with the color scheme here. It doesn't match the tone quite. This is a very contradictory kind of character. Just based on everything about him. I don't know. It just kind of stands to reason to me that the most powerful character is usually the one with the biggest hat on, right? And if you're dressed in red, you're supposed to use fire attacks, not water attacks. But this guy's like, this is the One Punch Man of Merman, who uses a bright orange color, who uses water attacks. It's funny. I'm gonna stick with it. I know it's contradictory, and I think I kind of like it because of that. So, screw it. Why not? It reminds me of like the Orange Crush soda. He's a soda merman. Alright, is that inner arm or is that outer arm? I think that's inner arm or outer. I was thinking about where am I going to put this guy in the game. The beach is a rather small area. There's one place in particular I know he's going to go. There's like, right next to the beach, there's this, there's like an entrance to the caverns. Before it like transitions entirely into caverns, it's more like a beach cave with like a large opening. And there's a bunch of water along the ground there. So it seems like the perfect place to put this enemy. But that's the only one I could think of too. So this may be an enemy that only appears in one spot of the game. Which kinda seems like a drag, but it's okay too. Sometimes that's gonna happen. What I could do though, is I could make them spawn on the actual beach at like night or something. Maybe there's a lot more of them out. So that is something I haven't really thought about. Like, I want to have the nighttime have more dangerous monsters on the map. So I think the big deal though is I want these to be in a place where there's water along the ground. And the beach has like, it does have water on the ground, but it slopes into it. So, like having a big water wave go up the slope and onto the sand, I guess that's fine actually. That kind of works. It's not that unusual. I could even do something special, like a quirk, to where if he does the slam and he's not in the water, it doesn't do anything. But if he lands inside the water, that's when the wave gets created. That's kind of a cool idea. And then that makes fighting them on the beach, there's a strategy of trying to keep them out of the water to make the fight a little easier. I like that. I'm gonna do that. And with all my ideas, I need to write them down immediately or I will forget them. I'm a big dum-dum. So let me write that down. Okay. Saved. I think I'm gonna make, I don't know. The beach is an area that I haven't given a lot of thought of how it works. Because yeah, it's only a couple zones. Basically like 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd say about 7 rooms of beach area. And I've got a lot of monsters and a boss to cram into those areas. Because I gotta think like how they work. I think the boss only comes out at night. And the idea is the beach is filled with these tentacles from the boss that you have to kill. They're all stretching from the shoreline. And when you go to the right room, that's when you'll fight him. So yeah, what I'll do is after you've defeated that boss is when these guys will start showing up at night. But they won't show up until you've killed the boss. And then during the daytime, the beach is actually pretty safe. Like, I think there's a random chance that one of the octopus enemies will run out of the sea to attack you. And I think it's a random chance to depend. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If you crush the crab, oh man, that makes perfect sense. If you step on the crab enemy, there's a chance that it will activate an octopus that'll charge up. Basically, he's coming to eat that crab, but he'll attack you because you're in the way. And that makes perfect sense because I've got a hyper boss that's a crab, and I was planning when it dies, have a bunch of octopus run on screen and eat it. So we're making it canon that these octopus really like crab. That's perfect. And that's like if you're walking around the beach is mostly safe as long as you avoid the crabs and you don't hurt them. But that's kind of dangerous because if you just step on a crab, it'll die. So they're kind of like little landmines that can trigger battles. I like that, I really do. I'm going to have to make a note of that too. Because I don't think there's a part of the map where the crabs actually, or where the octopus is actually like always on screen. Okay, I made a note of that. I like how these little ideas just kind of show up. There's no plan. They just, sometimes I'll be struck with a little bit of inspiration that works out really well. All these sharp areas are the worst part. They always slow me down. You can't just use the fill tool on them. Did I get that part of the foot before? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna make it to where the other crab monster that I have has a chance of summoning an octopus too when it dies. That way, yeah, when you fight the hyper boss version of that, which is supposed to just be a joke fight, what makes it really dangerous is when you kill it, it summons just a screen full of octopuses that all charge at it and devour it before running off the screen, and you either have to kill them or just get out of the way. Dodge them, basically. I don't know if I just... Did I change there? I don't think I did. What time is it? 12 o'clock. I got an hour. I probably won't stream for that long though. Like I need a break here soon. I think I would like to finish the color on this guy. At the very least, I'd like to finish this guy on stream. We've worked on him for so long. I kind of knew when I started this that the Merman were going to take a while, just because they're more complicated variants, not just a palette swap. They've got different features. They have to be reshaded, recolored. But at least I didn't have to do the animation part. Actually, this is the part where it does not move, right? For like several frames. That would be very smart to just marquee this. If my pen will cooperate. There you go. That got me through a couple frames pretty quickly. I don't know if I'm going to do the chest or not. Kind of makes sense to do it. I could at least do the part. I don't know, the problem is that means changing the color of the tail. And then I've got to do like a blend up here where it transforms back into normal body. But I guess it would look better. So I should probably do that. Back arm does not move. This eyeball should feel low. Well, I say that, there's a square missing. Funny how, like, these old drawings, I've got the most lazy outlining, but then I spent so much time doing like highlights and stuff, and gradients. It's weird. Okay. The last part would be I think the best way to do this, if I draw a line from here to here, I'll just have to blend this in later. Alright, I drew the line from, yeah, there to there. It doesn't make much sense, does it? I guess it just needs to kind of go to there so that this part can be filled in as well when it's showing. So really just kind of go into the jaw when necessary. Oh, it's going to be so hard on these parts where it doesn't move though. And look, that's going to move. I'm going to have to like copy and paste it from this one on to make it match. I mean, I guess I could do that. Yeah, absolutely. I'll skip it for now. It's fine for these ones where he's moving around. These should be okay. This is why I avoid doing stuff like this now. Is it usually, it's very time consuming. Okay. Yeah, ignoring 17 to 25, I'm going to do the rest of it. So the question here, do I color the tail as well? Let's just do the chest to start with. I'm going to go ahead and correct this as I do it too, just so it's done. 3 hours. We got about 30 minutes to go. Whoa. Oh yeah, this was 17. Okay, don't do this one. I'll do these separately and copy them. I'm kind of glad I did this. He looks better with a lighter color chest. Even though it brings up a few of its own problems. I think I will do the tail as well. Sometimes it bleeds outside and you just gotta use the brush tool. Or marker. Here's another way to do it. Use the marquee, grab big chunks of it and fill it in, and then later go in and fine tune it. For something like this, it's kind of separated, but it's got lots of tight spaces in it. Okay. Took about 4 passes to get rid of that. Alright, so I just combine this into 25 through 17. Right. Oh yeah. I guess some of them's gonna dance around too. Awesome. Okay, I can fix that. Oh, that one that I just merged in was without a doubt the layer that I had my colors on. Oops. Well, that happens sometimes. Pretty sure it's this one. Yep. Okay. Well, let's remake that. Okay. So a little bit of editing will have to be done here because the head moves around. Okay. Yeah, 4 passes. And then it bleeds onto the neck a little. I'll have to fix that too. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. Next is claws. I think I just make these black or a blackish color. Maybe like this. This is usually my go-to for off black. Yeah, I guess that looks best. I'm still gonna do effects for these. Oh, it's gonna be a while. God, this might take another 2 days. Because I gotta draw the other merman. Or at least color him. The shading will be mostly done, so we got that going. But, yeah, I still gotta make effects for both of them. Which I think I can cheat quite a bit on the effects for the cavern one. Because I think I'm just gonna make, I'm gonna take the one that the other mermen use and make them bigger and change the color of them. But this guy has very different effects because they're all projectiles. No, I'm feeling really sore right now. I'm just kind of like pushing to get this finished. At least this version. I think these streams are a really good example of where all the time that I put into this game is gone. When you look at all the other monsters that I've drawn, consider that I've spent more time on those too, because well, one, not working efficiently, and I was doing a lot of experimenting at that point, and maybe doing extra kind of like work, these gradients and stuff, these highlights. So a lot of time spent on monsters. I'm happy with how many monsters I've got though. I was really worried that I would like it's quite the task to fill up a bestiary as big as something in Castlevania, because Castlevania's got, it's not just the one game, it's got lots of games that help build it up, right? Like the throwing skeleton, the bat, those just come from the first game, and then they were constantly adding new stuff, new monsters to the that they can pull from. I'm just doing it all in one go, trying to come up with as many unique monsters to fill up about the same amount. I don't think I'm, and I say that, I don't think I'm even close to Castlevania yet. I might be. Once we get these variants done, I wonder, I'd have to like count them and compare. I'd be very curious how I compare now. I feel like I'm definitely lower monsters, but these like, this is the one that repeats, yeah. These variants will help fill out a couple more monsters. Add some more variety to the game. Even they're not like wholly unique, but they are enough. I feel like Castlevania cheats a lot though. They made a lot of variants. Like there's 4 variants of a skeleton enemy that just dies and comes back to life at different speeds. Like that's kind of cheating, come on. I mean, they made it work too, so I'm not arguing it. I've never made a variant that's that lazy. I think the closest I've got is the dragonfly. Just because it's like a Medusa head. 3 versions of a Medusa head that move at different speeds. I do wonder how many more lazy palette swaps could I fit in if I really wanted to. I kind of did the ones that made sense, but if it was something as simple as they speed up a bit, I don't know, I just want to avoid that. Okay. Oh right, I was doing the feet. That was just the part where that was caught up. Okay, let me go back to the feet then. Just because the hands are so low, I was saving them for later. Alright, the last thing is, what color is the webbing? It could be orange. Which, maybe I'll just keep it orange. The only thing is, there's a spot where the inside of the knee is showing. No, it's fine, we'll just keep it orange. Okay, I think this is done then, with that decision made. Take a look at the whole thing. Colored and everything. I did not shade this nearly. Well, I completely forgot the back arm in this part. I can fix that. Damn, there's a lot of shading here. None in this. It was enough for me to notice it. Alright, that's fine. That's what the beach one looks like. Oh yeah, and because I changed the shading, let me make sure I save that so I don't have to do it again later. That's an interesting thing. If I just double the hard light, what does it look like? Ah, that's worse. Alright, at least we tried it. Right, so next will be this guy. I gotta change a few things here. So we need a folder of 38. I gotta clear all this. He's gonna need a glow layer as well. I think they're all empty. I'm just setting up for the next one. He's got extra frames because his tongue takes a couple extra frames to come out. So that's what that is. So yeah, I'm gonna set up all these layers. That's that one. This will be this one. This will be hard light. This will be overlay. And then I want one more. This one is for add glow. And then this hard light, I'm gonna have to take it apart and just throw it in here later. And yeah, I have to like move some of the layers around to accommodate that tongue. Okay, either way, let's save that. So that's that one done. Next I'll be working on the cavern version of it, which is this one. Yeah. I think this will be brown and green. I don't know, it might not be brown and green. Seeing as the other guy's brown and blue, I might want to do something different. I like the idea of green though. I'll look up pictures of regular fish and seahorses and find a color scheme that stands out to me. Okay. Regardless, this stream is at its end. Oh man, I gotta get ready. Yeah, that's it. Later.